Hey everyone, this question comes from Mark. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and he just completed his first 70.3. He's taken a little bit of recovery period, and now he's getting ready for his 2 races at the end of the summer. One is a week before Labor Day, so the end of August, and the other is a week after Labor Day, so 2 weeks later. And he had some questions regarding how he should proceed with the rest of his training for the next couple months leading up to that Labor Day holiday racing schedule. And then if he could race his race that's a week before Labor Day, as well as race his race after Labor Day, or if he should use the first race as a training day for the second one. Mark, thanks for asking the question. I'm going to discuss a little bit about the principles of training right now, because how you proceed, excuse me, in June and July and August, the next 3 months of your training, really is determined by what is your goal of both of these events. And also, how do you define a training race versus a non-training race? And I'll tell you how I do. So what first you want to do is set the goal. What is the goal? What is most important? Is the first race more important than this, or is the second race more important? If the second race is more important, I would definitely use the first race as what I called a B event, where you're going to go into it a little bit rested, not tapered, but maybe take maybe 2 or 3 days of recovery leading up to that race, and do something during that race that you've either never done before, or something that's going to help you get better, stronger, faster, more confident for that second race 2 weeks later. That doesn't mean you can't race it, but I think it just really means you want to have realistic goals for each of these events. And again, if the first race, the one before Labor Day, is more important than the second one, then obviously what I would do is do a little bit of a taper, a longer tapering off your training volume and intensity, so you go into that first race a little bit more rested. And then again, not to say that you're not going to do well that second race, because anything can happen when you race. There's more to race preparation than just the physical training. You got to be healthy. You got to develop some mental skills. You have to be properly fueled, hydrated. Weather can affect the results. There's so many other factors that's going to affect the result of the race. So it's really good to have those 2 events. With regarding if they're too close together, based on the fact that you just trained for a 70.3 and you have 3 more months to prepare for these events, I don't think they're too close together. I think you could probably do well at both of those races 2 weeks apart, being an Olympic distance size, because you're trained for a 70.3. And also, really, how you do will be determined how well you recover from the first one. How well you recover from the first one is based on how hard you go. And it's also based on your recovery practices, such as hydration, nutrition, sleep, following the event. So you want to be thinking about all these things as you prepare your training plan, as you prepare your race plan. So let me talk a little bit about the training plan that you should consider thinking about. So June, July, August. So you're about, let's say, about 12 weeks out. When I'm creating what goes into a training plan, I'm actually working backwards. So I'm looking at the race date first, so 12 weeks from now. And then I would prepare for an Olympic distance. I'd prepare a 7 to 10 day taper period. Before that 7 to 10 days, you're going to be doing about an 8-week, what's called an 8-week build period, where you're doing race-specific intensity, race-specific brick workouts, pacing workouts. For an Olympic distance event, I would say a lot of zone 4, zone 5 type of intensity, so shorter and harder, not quite as long and moderate as a 70.3 event. So you're going to be doing that for about 8 weeks. Again, an easy way to think about is doing a 3-week build, 1 week recovery, 3-week build, 1 week recovery, and then your taper. And then before that, so that first month of 12 weeks, you're doing your preparation, base training, kind of for you, just having finished a 70.3, you're going to start to develop some more aerobic base, some zone 3 tempo types of training, rebuild your strength because you just had a period of recovery. And so through that base and strength building, you're going to be ready to hit those higher intensity programs. So the first thing you should do as you're building your week to week is fill in what is the best day to take off. Fill in the days that you know you're going to do group training. So if you like to do group runs on Tuesday, Thursday, those are definitely going to be your running days. If you like to take, maybe most people take Fridays or Mondays off, maybe you take a weekend off, make sure you get that day off in there. Fill in your group training days. Since you are training, I would definitely want to become the leader of those group runs. So I would want to set the intensity and not just do someone else's workout because you're preparing for an event and maybe they aren't. So definitely take that lead role in that group workout and decide what type of intensity, what type of purpose that group run is going to be. And then fill in how many times a week can you ride. Most people these days tend to ride their indoor trainer during the weekdays, and then they can get outside on the weekends. If you're one of those persons, what I would suggest you do is some high intensity intervals indoors, some skills and drills. And then on the weekend, I would choose a course that's going to simulate that A race, that peak race that you're getting ready for, and start training on that type of terrain when you get to the build period, like I said, 8 weeks out. So hopefully this answers your question. If you have any more, definitely call. Leave me a voicemail on speakpipe.com/endurance hour. Comment below. Join our T2 Endurance Facebook club group. It's a group. And we have a lot of chatter going on in there. Experienced athletes as well as newbie athletes kind of asking questions, supporting each other. And this is where we post a lot of our questions and answers in our Facebook group. So again, I hope it helps. And definitely, if you have more questions, let me know. Make it a great day.